So on the next blank page in our math notebook, your title says thinking about fractional size. That's what you are writing down in your worksheet. Thinking about fractional size. Come on, Ava, stay please. We're going to be working on a task together. You don't need to write the task. We're going to get some more information, but I'll read it to you as you are writing down the title. It says, Nick, Andy, and Brittany are helping their grandma make blueberry muffins by adding the blueberries to 3 different batches. So Nick is making his own batch, Andy is making his own batch, and Brittany is making her own batch. What do I mean when I say batch? What am I talking about with that word? You might have heard it before. What am I talking about when I say batch? Maverick, what am I talking about with a batch?
Like a group.
It is a group. If you've ever made muffins or cookies or brownies, you know you usually don't just make one. You make a whole group of them, more than one. In cooking or in baking, that group is called a batch. So they're making groups of muffins, more than one muffin. Mason, what's up, friend?
It's like a donut.
Sure, so we might think of a batch kind of like, we might use that baking term dozen to talk about a group. A batch is a group. There's more than one. What are we wondering about what's going on? This is just part of it. We don't have all the information. What information are you wondering you wish you had? Dorian?
How many muffins are in each batch?
How many muffins are in each batch? I've made mini muffins, and I've had regular sized muffins, and that might change, right? A lot of times if you make something mini, you can get a lot more. But if I make giant muffins, I might not get as much. So that might be important to know. Addison, what else might be important to know or that you want to know?
Maybe how much like blueberries are like in muffins?
Sure. How many blueberries are in the muffins? That's their job. They're adding the blueberries. How many blueberries are they adding? Ava?
How many blueberries are in each different batch?
Yep, that's just what Addison just said. You got it. Brogan?
I'm wondering how much they split their batter into.
Okay. Lydia?
I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay. Arthur?
How much batter did they put in each, like, little, like, bag for the muffin? Because, like, the more batter, it's a little pan, so the bigger it is.
Let's get some more information. Nick added 2.5, I should say cups instead of a cup, but that's right, of blueberries to his muffins. Andy added 2/4 of a cup of blueberries to his muffins. Brittany added 2/6 of a cup of blueberries to her muffins. So I see that each person added a different fraction amount of blueberries. You see that? Yeah. Lydia, you got a question?
I remembered what I was going to say earlier.
Oh, what were you going to say?
I was going to say if it was kind of going to be like some other questions that we have, or the, like, sharing.
Oh, sure. These friends are going to make some statements about their batches. So they've each got their own batch. Nick added 2/2 of a cup. Andy added 2/4 of a cup, and Brittany added 2/6 of a cup. Brittany is saying she added more blueberries than her brothers because 2/6 is greater than 2/2 and 2/4. Before we start talking about that, let's make sure we write down who's got what. So in your notebook, I want you to write Nick. And Nick had the fraction 2/2 of blueberries. Underneath that, we're going to write Andy. We know Andy in our problem had 2/4 of a cup. And then we have Brittany, who had had 2, 6. That way we have those fractions and we can look at them and remember. So let's look at what Brittany is saying. Brittany said she has added more blueberries than her brothers because 2, 6 is greater than 2 halves and 2 fourths. What are your thoughts about what Brittany is saying? Is it true? Is it not true? Brittany says she added more blueberries than her brothers because 2, 6 is greater than 2 halves and 2 fourths. Think about what 2, 6 would look like. Actually, we're not coloring. Is that going to be more than 2 halves or 2 fourths? Marley, what are you thinking?
No, because if you look on the board, if you do 2 halves, it'll equal a whole, and then if you have 2 fourths, it'll most likely equal 3/6, and then if you have 2 6, then it's lower than 2.
Okay, so you're telling me that 2, 6 is a small amount? How do you know that 2, 6 is a small amount? Texan, how do you know 2, 6 is a small amount? Marley just told us it was small. How do you know that?
The bigger denominator is how many pieces there are, and the more pieces, the more smaller the pieces get.
Yeah, so Texan noticed, hey, she's dealing with 6. And similar to Marley, if I look at my 6 size pieces, they're pretty small compared to fourths or halves. So even though Brittany has 2 1/6 pieces, does she have more than her brothers? How could you prove that?
I know something.
Oh, and what did you know? What did you notice?
That both of her brothers have a foot.
Hold on to that thought. We're going to talk about her brothers in a second. How could you prove that? You just told me in words, but how could you prove it? Avery?
You could draw a model. First, you could draw the brothers' fractions, and then you could compare it with the 2 6.
Absolutely. We could draw a model. Let's look at what her brothers have to say. Andy is saying that he added the most because 2 fourths is the same as 1 half, so he added half a cup to his muffins.
Nick.
Andy is saying that he added the most blueberries because 2 fourths is the same as 1 half, so he added half a cup to his muffins. I want you to talk to your group. I want you to decide, is he right? Is he wrong?
No.
All right. What are our thoughts about what Andy is saying? Because not all of what he's saying is wrong. Not all of what Andy is saying is wrong. Jordan, what are your thoughts on what Andy is saying?
He's not wrong about he had 1 half, but he is wrong about having the most blueberries.
Ooh.
At 2 halves.
All right. So Jordan is saying that Andy's not wrong about having 1 half. And just like Avery told us, we can prove it by using a model. This is a model. I'm going to get my 2 fourths out, and And I'm going to see, do they take up the same amount of space as 1/2? Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's right there. 2/4 is worth 1/2. But did he add the most blueberries to his muffin? Emma, what are your thoughts? How do you know that, Emma?
Because, like, he was saying that he had a 2/4 cup of blueberries and then that's sort of 1/2, but then has 2.
Ooh, Nick, look at that fraction. Colby, read that fraction to me. I can say it's worth a whole, but how do I actually read what this says? 2/2. Emma said, okay, cool, Nick has 2/2. But Andy right now only has 1/2. Having 1/2 is less than 2/2. Now, Julian brought up a good point. He was like, I'm not quite sure about that last part, but I think Andy has more than Brittany. Think on that for a second. Julian was thinking about that. He said, I think Andy has more blueberries than Brittany. What are your thoughts on that? Brittany has 2/6. Andy has 2/4. Talk to the table.
Yes. No. Yes. Now look.
Tell me in words. Don't show me with pieces. Tell me in words how you know that Andy does have more than Brittany. Brogan? Yeah. Maybe that drawing of a picture just lost it for you. Let's not be doodling. Yep. I want you to tell me in words. Yep. I want you to tell me in words. How do we know that Andy has more than Brittany? Go for it, Brogan.
Because 2/4 is bigger than 2/6.
How do you know that?
Because if you look over there.
Nope, I'm not looking at my model. Think about it. How do you know that? Mason, how do you know that?
Because me and Avery and Jordan built a model with the first one was 1/2. 2/4 equal a 1/2.
Mm-hmm.
So that means 2/6 do not equal a 1/2
Okay.
or 1/4.
Why not? Why does 2/6 not equal 1/2?
Because it's not as big as a 1/4.
Because the pieces are smaller. In both Andy and Brittany, they've got 2 of something. Andy had 2 1/4 cups, and Brittany had 2 1/6 cups. But are 1/4 cups and 1/6 cups the same size? No. So even though they both had 2 of those cups, they weren't the same size. 1/6 cups are smaller. Those are smaller pieces. All right, we've heard from Brittany. We have heard from Andy. Let's see what Nick's got to say. Nick is saying that he added the most blueberries because he added 2 big parts. Talk to your group, see if that's right or not right.
Yes.
What do we think about what Nick is saying? Alright, it's the wrong direction. What do we think about what Nick is saying? Alright, what do you think about what Nick is saying?
I think Nick is right because, well, like, split it into 2/4, you have to chop it up more, but just 2 halves is just 2. So I think, or just 2, or just like 2.
So he's adding 2 halves of a cup. So 2 1/2 cups.
2 1/2 less than like 2/4 cups. Split it up.
I think you're using the wrong word. Is 2 1/2 cups less than 2/4?
you were talking about like it's probably a hole. And I think he has the most because it's like bigger than the Andy's and Brittany's.
Nice. So you're thinking Nick has the most because he's got more than Andy or Brittany?
Yeah.
Let's draw some models. We're going to start with Nick. He's got 2 halves, right? All right. Here is 1 half. Is that 1 half? Yeah. All right, I'm going to draw my other half. I've got 1 half and 1 half. I've got 2 halves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If I'm writing, you're writing. All right, Andy. Use all this. Andy's got 2 4s. Is that a 4? How do you know? How do you know it's a 4? How do you know it's a 4?
Oh,
It is a 4. How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because it looks kind of like a quarter of a four.
It looks like a quarter. Mason, how do you know it's a 4?
because
Marlena,
if
thank
you
you.
put more fours on there, it'll become fours. So like
How many more 4s would I need?
you needed 3
3 more, and then I would have my
answers.
Yeah. So what Mason's saying is he's imagining, Arik, in his brain, the rest of this piece. Do you see how he did that? Hang on. Do we see what he's talking about? Now, right now, I only got 1 4. Did he have 1 4? No. Yes. He had 2 4s, so I need another 4. Here's my other 4. You can put your ghost 4 on there if you want to, so you can really see where those 4s came from. Go on, what's up?
Wine like that.
Whose batch of blueberry muffins would you want to eat from? Raise your hand to tell me. Whose batch of blueberry muffins would you want to eat from? And be ready to tell me why. Avery, whose batch do you want to eat from?
I would like to eat from Nick's.
Nick's. Why?
Because if he has if he has more pieces, I mean if he has a bigger hold on, how do I explain this? If he has 1 whole and it's cut into halves, well I know that the smaller the pieces, the less pieces that you get. So if I was splitting it with Nick, I would want a big piece.
All right, well, what is that fraction telling you?
It's telling me that there is 2 halves and 2 halves make a whole.
2 halves of what?
2 halves of a muffin.
Is it a muffin?
Blueberry. Oh.
Are we cutting blueberries in half?
No.
Cups. Cole, what are we doing with these blueberries?
We're cutting them in cups.
We're adding a cup of them to our mix. So Nick has his half cup, and he added 2 halves, which ended up being worth a whole cup of blueberries. Can you imagine a whole cup? You're pouring it into the mix. Okay. Andy had 2 4s, so he took his 4th scoop, did it twice, which ended up being half a cup. Can you imagine what half a cup looks like?
Yeah.
And pouring that into blueberry mix. And then Brittany, did 2 6, which was worth a third. Can you imagine what a third of a cup would look like?
Yeah.
Whose blueberry muffins would you rather eat? Connor?
I would eat Nick's because in the back there would be more blueberries. So
There's gonna be more blueberries. He added more blueberries than anybody else. He added a whole cup of blueberries. Connor, do you like blueberries?
yeah, that's why I would try thinking it.
Yeah,
And
'cause
since
I like-
only since if that you only got a piece, it would only be like this much. Since you get a half, it's like this much.
Yeah, he added more blueberries. Art, whose batch do you want to eat from?
Honestly, probably Brittany's because I'm not very hungry. I don't really want a lot of muffins right
Well, that's not the amount of muffins. What is that fraction talking about? It's not talking about muffins.
now. Well, like 1/6
Of what?
of a batch of muffins.
No, it's not talking about muffins. What are those fractions talking about?
1/6 cup of blueberry.
Of blueberries. So they're making their muffin mix. That's just the amount of blueberries they're adding. So, Art, do you like blueberries?
I'm not really hungry, so.
No, that wasn't the question. I didn't ask if you were hungry. I said, do you like blueberries? Okay, so Art says he kinda likes blueberries. He's probably not gonna want Nick's because Nick has a lot of blueberries in it. Which one do you think Art might like? Art kinda likes blueberries. Archer, what do you think?
Probably Andy's.
Maybe Andy's? Why do you say that, Archer?
Because Andy's doesn't have too much or too little.
Oh, it's like the Goldilocks of blueberries.
Yeah, it's like just right.
Maybe in the middle, just right.
Yeah, kind of like our planets are like.
Mmm.
Our planet is in the right spot to like have like
Human.
thing.
So maybe Andy put in just the right amount of blueberries for Art to like it. So Maya, do you like blueberries? Yes? So which batch would you like to eat from? Nick's, because he put a lot in there. Julian, do you like blueberries? Yes. Which batch do you want to eat from? You want to eat from Nick's? Does anyone not like blueberries?
I don't really like them.
I like strawberry muffins though. Yeah, I like them in muffins.
No, I don't like them.
Callie, you do not like blueberries? So
Neither do I.
which batch are you going to want to eat from?
I like them. Andy?
Do you think Callie, she does not like blueberries, do you think Callie wants to eat from Andy's batch? What would be a better blueberry batch for Callie to eat from? Mally, what do you think? Marley, what do you think?
Probably Brittany because she has less amounts of berries.
Yeah. Callie, if you don't like blueberries, this one only added this much blueberries versus this much blueberries. This has less blueberries, so you're probably going to want that one. All right, we're going to move on to our next